Hello, welcome to Elizabeth Reads. We have Girl in Real Life, and we are in Chapter 2, Tagged. I'd been thinking about quitting the channel for a while, probably because of all the filming I'd had to do over Christmas. Being told to give a bit more emotion, Eva, kind of sucks the joy out of opening your presents. The matching, let's take an Elfie pajamas didn't exactly help matters. There are only so many times you can pretend to enjoy eating gluten-free roulade with skinny custard before you want to spew. Then there was the vlog they posted a few days before I had to go back to school. Surviving Eva's puberty. Do not mention pubic hair. My life may as well have been over. By the next morning, Alfie Stevens and his friends had already reposted bits of it on TikTok. People from school were still commenting on it the next day. Dad was taking Farmore to the airport, but I wasn't allowed to go because I hadn't done my homework. So I sat in the kitchen scrolling through comments on Alfie's TikTok and sucked yogurt through a straw. It had pieces of coconut in it that kept getting stuck, so it wasn't exactly an easy way to eat it. I don't even like coconut that much, but the yogurt company was sponsoring us to post a photo, and I didn't want to. I was still in a mood about the pubic hair post, and I knew it would annoy Mom if I ate all of the yogurt before the shoot. Hopefully I'd get out of doing it entirely. It was a bonus the slurping noises I made annoyed her too. Eva, honey, can you please stop making that noise? Mom called for the fourth time, in the voice she does when she's annoyed, but she doesn't want to shout because she needs me to do a sponsored post later. I waited a few seconds and then slurped again, even louder. I don't know precisely when annoying my parents became a major part of my life, but without wanting to sound too big-headed, over the last few weeks I've gotten really good at it. Mom eventually came out of her office and shouted, Eva, that's enough! And then she saw what I was eating and her jaw dropped. That's the yogurt for the shoot! Oh, is it? Sorry, I said innocently. It is super delicious though, so they're right about that. I scooped up the final blob on the end of my straw and held it up. I still have this spit, but then it splatted on the kitchen table. Whoops! Mum smiled through gritted teeth. I'm sure I told you we needed that, honey. I don't think you've been listening to a word I say recently. It wasn't true. I had been listening. It's just that I'd done the exact opposite. We'll have to fill it up with regular yogurt, Mum said, and then scraped her finger around the inside of the pot and popped it in her mouth. Oh, that is good though, right? I flashed the tiniest smile I could do. Mum started looking in the fridge for some replacement yogurt. I sighed and refreshed my screen. Below the pubic hair video, a girl from school had commented, not to be dramatic, but I'd die. Someone else had put, imagine if that was your mum though. And Tyler Davidson has tagged me and put about 1 million crying with laughter emojis. Just then, Dad staggered in carrying a giant cactus. I could just see his head poking over the top. My dad is 198 centimeters tall. He used to play basketball for Denmark. Not as an actual job, Uncle Gare says it was more like charity work. Every time we go anywhere, a stranger will say, you're tall. Adults like stating the obvious when it comes to stuff like that. Dad always replies with the exact same thing. No, I'm Lars. It gets annoying. I inherited Dad's blue eyes and white blonde hair. The height thing I'm not sure about yet. So far I'm pretty average. If I get white armpit hair the same as his, I will die. I'm back, Dad said. Farmer is on the plane back to Copenhagen and I've collected prickles here as requested. He grinned, trying to avoid its spikes. It's perfect, Mum said, laughing. She put a pack of yogurts on the worktop and walked over to Dad and tried to sweep the hair out of his face. Only Dad's hair isn't obedient like mine. It's extremely curly. It looks like his head's stuck in a cloud. Eva, Dad called from behind the plant. That doesn't look like homework to me. Dad must be the only person on the planet who thinks about homework while he's getting impaled by a giant cactus. Now I'm in year 8, I'm supposed to be trying harder at school. It's not like I wasn't trying last year exactly. It's just that most of the time there are more interesting things happening outside the classroom window, like starlings pecking at the grass on the football field, wonky icicles along the gutter of the old science lab, leaves being blown into patterns by the wind. Miss Wilson says noticing those little details is a gift, but she's an art teacher. My other teachers call it a distraction. Dad doesn't understand why I'm not a high achiever at school. Since he and Mom went to university and everything, I guess he figures having their genes combined would make me doubly smart, but it didn't. It's annoying because what I did get was his practically invisible eyebrows and Mum's outie belly button. Mum smiled. Oh, leave her, Lars. Eva's been working this whole time. Farmer said she did brilliantly with her Danish over Christmas. She's almost better than me. Mum winked at me from across the room. Dad laughed. It's a running joke in my family that Mum's Danish is so bad no one can understand what she's saying. When we're at Farmer's, it's a good excuse to ignore her. Dad carefully placed the cactus next to the window and looked out at the frosty garden. So, he said, clapping his hands, the light's great. Are we ready to go? Mum looked at him like he'd made a bad joke. She took down the picture by the window that said, all you need is love and Prosecco, and replaced it with one saying, there is always a reason to smile. I thought about the pubic hair post being shared all over TikTok and thought, there is always a reason to faceplant a giant cactus. Might be more accurate. There, Mum said, carefully placing a couple of magazines on the coffee table. Eva, can you go get changed, sweetie? You've got yogurt down your t-shirt. I looked at the yogurt spatters on my chest and then closed the school books I barely looked at and headed toward the stairs. Nothing gray, Mum called. You wore gray in the nail stickers ad last week. Sure. I picked at what now looked like a beheaded cat on my fingernail, and then another notification flashed up on my phone. Alfie had tagged me in a photo of a gigantic white candy floss. Pubes! My skin felt like it was being punctured with cactus prickles, so I came out with it, right there, at the bottom of the stairs, with headless cats on my nails and blobs of coconut yogurt soaking into my t-shirt. I don't want to. Sorry, what, honey? Mum said, not even glancing up from her phone. That yellow t-shirt with the love hearts might look nice. I'll be up in a sec. No, I said. I don't want to do the photo. Mum looked up at me then, confused. You not feeling well, sweetie? I can't say I'm surprised after eating all that yogurt. It's not the yogurt, I said. The whole of TikTok is laughing at me for that vlog you did the other day. You know about... My cheeks burned. I couldn't say the words pubic hair out loud. Oh, you mean the puberty thing? Mum gave me a sympathetic smile and then poked her bottom lip out. I hated it when she did that. It's nothing to be embarrassed about, honey, and it was meant to be funny. It's not funny, I said. It's totally embarrassing. Look. I was about to show her the candy floss picture, but Dad suddenly chimed in. Eva, do you think we're embarrassed about our pubic hair? It's totally natural, nothing to get uptight about. Which made me wonder if my parents even went to secondary school. They'll have forgotten about it by Monday, Mum said. Anyway, you've got nothing to worry about with a photo shoot about yogurt. Now go on, sweetie, before we lose this beautiful light. And she turned back to her phone. I looked pleadingly at Dad, but he jogged up to me and kissed my cheek with his stubbly mouth. We're so proud of you, Eva. But we are losing this morning light, so hurry up. You can talk to us about anything you like later, okay? Pubic hair or whatever. Only that wasn't true. I couldn't talk to them about anything because they always made it impossible to tell them how I really felt about the channel. On the Sunday before I had to go back to school, I was supposed to be watching Hallie in a gymnastics competition. We've been best friends since year 4. We used to do everything together. Her mum, Rose, even braided our hair together once. Only my mum kind of ruined it by putting the photo on the All About Eva Instagram without permission, and Rose made her take it down. Then in year 6, I had to give up gymnastics because practice started clashing with the filming schedule. I didn't mind that much. I used to get nervous in competitions and mess up anyway. But I missed doing them with Hallie. She was the first person in our age group to do a back handspring. I never even mastered the front one. So, now she shares lifts to gymnastics with Gabby Galani and I watch from the sidelines. On Sunday morning, Hallie had messaged saying to arrive at the competition early so I could get a seat on the front row. But Mum had arranged a last-minute photo shoot at Clevedon Hall about half hour out of town. She promised we'd be back in time to watch at least the second half, but it was already late when we arrived for the shoot, so I knew it would be impossible. Me and Mum had to wear matching t-shirts saying pretty and proud, and it was freezing inside Clevedon Hall. You'd think with all that money they'd be able to afford decent heating. My skin felt goose pimply as the makeup lady pinned a gigantic bow in my hair and stuck little pink gems around my eyes. It wasn't bad. I mean, I was being treated like a film star, only the kind of film star who wears the exact same clothes as their mom. We had to pretend to have afternoon tea in this room called the Morris Suite that had a dome ceiling and low-hanging chandeliers. Tiny cakes and triangular sandwiches were laid out on 4-tier stands in front of us. They were real, but we just had to pretend to eat them. Mum said I could have some sandwiches at the end of the shoot. Only by then, the corners had curled up, my face was aching from smiling, and I wasn't sure how many people had touched them. As the photographer showed Mum the pictures, I wiped off my makeup. All I could think about was Hallie searching the crowd and seeing an empty seat where I was supposed to be. On Monday at school, Hallie said it was fine I didn't make it, but I could tell she was annoyed with me because when Khalil called, "Pretty and proud," and Alfie shouted, "Big head," as I walked into form, Hallie didn't say anything. I sat down and scrolled through the All About Eva Instagram. There were loads of nice comments, but there are only so many times Happy Melon 3000 can post the love heart emoji without feeling kind of creepy. Then I read one that said, "Ugly and stupid, you mean?" And I put my phone back in my pocket. I don't know why I read the comments. Mom and Dad told me I wasn't supposed to, but it was like trying not to scratch an itch. I wanted to know what people were saying about me, even if it did make me feel worse. Alfie shouted, "Big head," at me about 100 times that day. It was almost as bad as when Mom and Dad made me wear a giant avocado costume on World Vegetarian Day in year 7. There's still an avocado scraped into the paint on my locker, a permanent reminder of the most embarrassing day of my life. If I printed out all the avocado emojis I'd had posted on my personal social media that week, I could probably wallpaper my entire bedroom. I told Mom about Alfie so many times, but she always said, "Ignore him, sweetie. He's just jealous of all the attention you get," and would go back to tapping out replies on her phone. Most of the time, All About Eva takes priority over my actual real-life problems. No matter what I said, my parents didn't seem to notice the disaster All About Eva was turning into for me. They have this habit of forgetting that I also have to live in the real world. I'd figured out ages ago that I was not the CEO of my life, but now it felt like my life didn't even belong to me, and I really needed to figure out a way to get it back. That's the end of chapter 2. Make sure you subscribe and you'll know exactly when chapter 3 comes out. Bye-bye.